Today, we will discuss about types of displacement reactions. But before that, let us recall what we had already learned. A reaction in which a more reactive element displaces a less reactive element from its compound is called displacement reaction. Now, let us recall an important concept of chemistry, which is what are compounds? Let us refresh. Compounds are formed when two or more elements combine with each other. For example, hydrogen chloride is a compound which is formed by a combination of hydrogen and chlorine elements. Similarly, sodium hydroxide, methanol are compounds formed from different elements. Now let us also quickly revise what are elements. Elements are pure substances which have identical atoms. For example, sodium is an element as all atoms of sodium will be same. Another example of element is chlorine. When both of them combine, they form compound, which is sodium chloride. Now, can you tell me in a compound sodium sulfate how many elements are there? Yes, you are right, 3. That is sodium, sulfur and oxygen. Keeping these concepts in our mind, now let us see the types of displacement reactions. There are two types of displacement reactions, single displacement and double displacement. Let us see first what is single displacement reaction. A chemical reaction in which more reactive element displaces less reactive element from its compound is called single displacement reaction. In other words, in single displacement reaction, one single element replaces another element from its compound. For example, when iron reacts with compound copper sulfate solution, it displaces copper from its compound and forms ferrous sulfate and copper. Here, more reactive element iron is displacing less reactive element copper. Hence, it is a single displacement reaction. Can you think, students, how many compounds are required for single displacement reaction? Yes, you are right. Only one compound is required for single displacement. Now, let us understand double displacement reaction. Can you tell me how many compounds you require here? Yes, you got it right. As name suggests, two ionic compounds are involved in this type of reaction. Let us first refresh ourselves what is ionic compound. As we know, atoms can lose or accept electrons during any chemical reaction and accordingly become positively or negatively charged ions. If any atom loses electrons, its negative charge gets reduced and accordingly becomes positive ion, also called as cation. While if any atom gains electron, its negative charge increases and accordingly becomes negative ion, also called as anion. When these positive and negative ions combine, they form ionic compounds. Keeping this concept in mind, let's move forward to our topic, double displacement. Double displacement involves reaction between two ionic compounds in which cations and anions interchange their places and form two altogether different compounds. In generalized form, we can say it as AB plus CD gives AD plus CB. So how can we define double displacement? When two compounds react and if their ions are interchanged, then the reaction is called double displacement reaction. Let us understand it with the help of an experiment. Take 3 ml of sodium sulfate solution in a test tube and take 3 ml of barium chloride solution in another test tube. Mix the two solutions. What is happening here? Let us understand this with the help of chemical equation. Sodium sulfate plus barium chloride gives barium sulfate plus sodium chloride. As per equation, sodium sulfate is reacting with barium chloride and forms barium sulfate and sodium chloride. Here in the compound sodium sulfate, sodium is positive ion and sulfate is negative ion. Similarly, in compound barium chloride, barium is positive ion and chloride is negative ion. As you can see, ions are interchanged and new compounds are formed. In this reaction, we observe that two displacements are taking place at the same time. That is, sodium and barium cations replace each other from their respective compounds. Hence, it is double displacement reaction. Students, did you observe anything special in the reaction? Yes, you observed it right. that some insoluble substance has settled down in the bottom of the conical flask. This substance is called precipitate. You already know that in a chemical equation, precipitates are shown by a way of down arrow, as we have shown in our equation. Any reaction that produces a precipitate is called precipitation reaction, which is a type of double displacement where insoluble compounds is formed as product. So students, what we have seen? That in a displacement reaction, more reactive element displaces less reactive element from its compound. It's called single displacement. We also learned that when two ionic compounds react and if their ions get interchanged, it is called double displacement reaction. Also, if during double displacement reaction, precipitate is formed as a product, then it is called as precipitation reaction, which is a type of double displacement reaction. In the next video, we will see oxidation and reduction reaction.